proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great tech podcasts at www.techpodcasts.com.
This is Tech Webcast.
Computers, gadgets,
another geeky stuff.
It's awesome.
And it's from the future.
Follow us at twitter.com/techwebcast
And
On
Facebook and check techwebcast.info for info. Tech Webcast.
Turn on, tune in, drop on.
Welcome to episode 261 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on the 19th of October 2013. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Please rate us on iTunes and like us at facebook.com/techwebcast. Your hosts today are Brad, Jody, Steve, Jacob, and myself, Andrew. And our special guest today is Albert Grassia from the GrassiaGroup.com. G'day, Brad. How you doing, mate?
G'day, mate. How are you, Andrew?
I'm very well, very well. Beautiful spring day in Melbourne today.
It sure is, mate. There's no wind around or nothing, no rain or nothing.
Perfect. Great day for the Caulfield Cup today.
It is, mate. You having a bet?
Yeah, I am actually. I've just got a couple little $5 bets. I won on the first race, and I got a place on the second race, so I'm pretty good. I've already paid my bets back for the day.
Nice. Brilliant. Where do we start? Steve from the US. Hello, welcome as always.
Hey, how you doing this week? A little bit of snafus earlier, but we're doing pretty good.
Yep. Also, we've got Jody from the US as well. Welcome, Jody.
Hey, thanks, Brad. I'm doing well. Hopefully, I'm coming out okay.
You are?
I know we had some audio problems earlier.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on a broken phone. Anyway, that's all good. Also, Jacob, welcome, mate. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you today, Brad?
I'm very well. And also, it's your birthday next week.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a birthday takeover show on TechLuster. Not TechLuster, but, well, we'll be on TechLuster and Tech Webcast.
So you'll be taking over this show next Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, why I mentioned TechLuster, that's only like 2 days before.
Okay. Well, what will you be doing on this show next week?
Well, we're going to have singing from Melissa Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some.
So we're going to have the Melissa Bailey on the show next week.
Yes, we will. She'll be singing as well. And
fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, Jacob, that's going to be good, mate. Can't wait. It sounds fantastic. Also, we have Albert on.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, mate. Good to have you on the show as well. You're on Jennifer's podcast.
Yeah, we did that podcast and I had a great time there. And yeah, it was good.
Nice one. All right, Andrew, has your week been okay, mate? Today, last week, how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Busy as always. We've been working away on our app, which is slowly but gradually coming along. We're really looking forward to getting things out there because with the beta, it's a really limited number of people, so the content and things kind of get stale really quickly. But we're learning every day and every week with what we're doing, and excited for launching next month.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Also, is there going to be any beta updates coming soon from Rod at all? I was one yesterday, but never happened.
Yeah. Look, I'll just say yes. There'll be one later today. How's that?
Okay. Cool. Can't wait. All right.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
What about you, Brad? How's your week been?
My week's been fantastic. I actually got up with you on Wednesday. Had lunch at Pancake Palin.
Yeah, that's right. Always good.
Always good at the.
And the amazing Beverly from Queensland was down.
By the way, how come you don't call her mum?
I do call her mum. It depends on the context. When I'm talking business, I call her Beverly. And when we're at home, or if I'm up there or she's at my place, then she's mum. So it's all about context.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's jump into some news. Jacob, as always, and actually, one more thing before we start. Google Plus Hangout's got an update today, Jacob, for iOS.
Oh yeah, that we Brad and I tested it. He called my house phone. It's actually pretty neat. When you from Brad's point of view, he says when you call someone, It has a special ringtone.
You do. It's not when you ring it. You know how you get that ringing thing, that thing on your phone when it rings. When you're actually making a call. That.
Dial tone.
Dial tone. That's it. Dial tone.
No.
Yeah, dial tone. Jody, have you used this yet? Have you at all?
You tried to call me earlier.
I did.
So,
You didn't answer.
yeah. But it's interesting because when you think about it, what they're doing is they're kind of circumventing the phone minutes. So if you can use a Hangout and make a call, you don't really need to use your phone minutes.
No, you don't.
So it's kind of interesting that Apple even allowed it in the App Store.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. It's so cool. Andrew, what's your view on that?
It's just another example of Google's taking over the world. As we all know, the Hangouts are a great product. Now you can make a phone call from that. I guess that's probably going to compete a bit with the Skype phone calls. I like the idea of it, but I question in some ways whether or not they're better to try and keep Hangouts as what it is, or maybe this will help expand the market as more people talk about what it's doing and start to understand what Hangouts are. So I don't know. Obviously they've got their reasons. Just another Google's taking over our phone line. Next they'll be installing fridges in your house. Who knows what's coming?
Yeah, definitely.
Google fridge.
Now, Jacob, it's correct that Google Voice is closed down. Is that true or not?
I don't know.
I don't know. Is that true, Jody? I heard something about Google Voice closing or something. Is that correct or not?
They incorporate it within the Hangouts.
Okay. So it's building Hangouts. Is that okay? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice one. Okay, Steve, what do you reckon?
I guess I'm for it. Like I said, I'm surprised Apple didn't shut it down. Maybe they will eventually. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I hope they don't, because I utilize Google Voice in a lot of different ways, especially for what I do, and I have to utilize several different numbers. So I hope that's not true. I hope they're able to integrate it. See, I was able to utilize Google Voice early with, for example, a cell phone carrier that said, you can have like 3 or 5 numbers in your unlimited calling plan. Well, I utilized my Google Voice number as one of those numbers. So whenever anybody calls, my Google Voice number rings, and it's kind of like I've always had unlimited calling no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and it's cool. It's got features like visual voicemail, and like you said, the one number. So it does have some awesome features.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jake, let's jump into some news today and what's been going down in the news, right?
Yeah. For this one, what I found for you, Brad.
Okay, go ahead.
Unspoiler block spoilers for your favorite shows all over the web. With a little plug-in for Chrome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little thing like you were trying to see what the end was for the show that was on a couple days ago.
Okay. All right, that sounds.
So basically, it's a good idea because some people don't want to spoil it. They just want to see it for themselves, to see the real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the show was Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and some shows that don't get aired over here a few hours later. Foxtel does all that and stuff, and especially with Sons of Anarchy. I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. I don't want anyone to spoil what happened in the episode. I hate that.
Yes, some blogs.
So how does it work?
So how does it work, Jacob? Explain, mate.
So it says right here in the post, it says that the add-on is really simple once installed. All you have to do is just install it, then click the unspoiler button in Chrome's toolbar.
Oh, it's a extension, right? Browser extension for your web browser.
Yes. Yeah, it also says here you just type in the name of the show. It'll have a server leaked onto that name of that show. So whatever spoilers come out, you won't see them. It'll say, "Warning: this may be a spoiler for Harrisburg." That's what shows in the image.
Okay. Andrew,
Interesting.
you find that interesting, Andrew, or not?
Yeah, quite interesting. It's something a bit different.
All right. Albert, what do you think about that? Would you use that?
Yeah, absolutely. What's funny is after the music awards where Miley Cyrus gave that performance, somebody had actually created a Chrome extension that blocked every reference to Miley Cyrus and blurred lines. Out. I mean, all of anybody who was involved with that performance. It essentially like whenever you did a search, it would come up with like random characters and it would blur out the name, block the photo. I loved it. I mean, I think this is great because there's a lot of things that I would love to watch, but then you've got all these people on Facebook that just go crazy with, "Oh my gosh, did you see this?" And then they start talking about it, and I'm just like, "Great." I don't want to avoid social media, but I feel like I have to sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, Jake, let's get to the news. We'll discuss at the end of the news stories. So go ahead, Jacob, jump in, mate.
All right, we got another one here. It's from NVIDIA. NVIDIA debuts G-Sync monitor module to improve image quality. It's a little chip that show, like, how you have like stale quality on your screen. It helps it out. Yeah, because when I read it, one of the posts I was reading from another site, it says it filters out that blue light you don't see. It helps get that out because that.
Continue, keep going, moving, please. Keep going. We'll discuss it then. End of the stories.
That's what it is.
All right. Okay, yep, that's good. Keep going, mate.
All right, the next story. It is the next tech worker shortage. Google bus drivers. In San Francisco, the Google bus, the cushy coasts, yeah, they're running low. So basically, I would say, get on it, Google. We need more drivers.
Maybe we can get you on the bus, Jacob, to drive it.
I can't. I'm not licensed to drive anything.
Oh, really? That's a shame. All right, keep going.
I black out easily. Okay, here's one for the Xbox Live users. Xbox Live games with gold. Promotion extended.
Nice one.
Yeah, they get, it says right here, Microsoft games with gold promotion of 2 free Xbox games for per month for Xbox Live Gold memberships will now be an ongoing benefit for subscribers. The company announced on the Xbox website.
Cool. All right, next story.
Okay. This innocuous way to build bridges will fix our crumbling infrastructure. Yeah, it's because when they're building, they don't have enough. They just use those rails and stuff for installing stuff. So
interesting.
That one. Do they do that over there in Australia?
Do they do what?
Do they like funky ways of building bridges and stuff?
They do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. There's some cool bridges over here. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is one of them.
I'm pretty sure most of the bridge technology actually comes out of Germany and Europe and places like that. So it tends to be sort of licensed internationally.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right, Jacob, next story, mate. Any other stories?
Yeah, we got 2.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, Wolfram Alpha adds a wealth of Siri accessible Pokemon info to its database. So, in other words, your iPhone's now a Pokédex.
Okay, cool.
Now, what do you say about that?
Sounds cool.
One more.
Yep, go ahead.
One thing I'm wanting to talk about is the new Nest smoke alarm with carbon monoxide detection.
Yep.
Yeah. It works like on the webs with your Wi-Fi and stuff and Bluetooth. It's like if you have fire, it'll basically so I can give you a little preview of it.
No, let's not do that.
No, it's from their website.
Yeah, no, let's not do that, mate. We don't want any sort of sounds in the show. Okay, good news, Jacob, as always, mate. And it's a shame Jody couldn't read them today. Still did a good job there, Jacob.
Thank you.
Go to Jody first and see if you can give us any views on them stories. Jody?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not really sure which story to remark about first.
Okay.
Maybe the spoiler
Yeah, the smaller one
thing.
was a good
Yeah,
stuff.
that was kind of an interesting application. I'm not sure exactly how they block certain things, but I like the idea of blocking Miley Cyrus. She's not my favorite.
Who would want to see her naked butt?
She'd be twerking.
I think it's the car crash thing, isn't it? You know, nobody actually wants to. Nobody's searching for her, but when you see it, you can't look away.
Yeah, it's just, like the Xbox, the promotion. For those people who actually play Xbox, it actually sounds like it's a pretty cool thing. Apparently, you can get 2 free Xbox 360 games per month, and it's a promotion that they're running for the Xbox Live Gold members. And they're saying that now, if you're a subscriber, it's an ongoing benefit. So it's kind of cool.
Cool. Also, Andrew, this is completely off topic, but I would say it before I forget. This week we are getting a Humax PBR to review this week from Humax.
Yeah, we are, Brad. They're sending us one out. I think it's their latest model, so we're really interested to have a look and see how that goes. Apparently, it's got some pretty cool toys, so we'll certainly be discussing that next week after we've done the review, Brad.
I definitely, mate. Can't wait. Also, want to mention about Foxtel. They bring out a new IQ3 next year.
Yeah, they've got the IQ3 coming, which will be really exciting.
You going to get one?
Not 100% sure. See, I really love the idea of Foxtel and what it does. Pricing, I think, is too high, personally.
Oh, I think it's.
But
I heard $75 with the box. That's what you pay. $75.
you know, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I just don't have time for it. I honestly wish I had more time for television, but I just don't. Like, I acquire TV shows from the US from time to time, and I don't even have time to watch them. So,
oh well, I'm sure you will have some time one day, mate.
Let's hope.
Foxtel IQ box. I haven't seen it, but apparently you can record up to 4 shows, 1 terabyte hard drive, all that sort of good stuff. I'm getting one for sure.
Okie dokie.
Can't get one in Australia, I don't think.
Okay, what do you think, Steve, about the news stories?
Go ahead,
Actually,
Steve.
I do want to mention a little bit about the Nest, which is very interesting concept, and well, I understand. From what I understand, one unit, because you can get like slave units that hook up with the main unit, but the more you get, it gets kind of expensive. Now, on an interesting note, I did pre-order. It's called a Quickset Kivo, which is a Bluetooth house lock, and you put that on your door, and you can actually send, if you have friends or relatives, well, maybe not friends, but coming to visit, you could actually send them. They could put this thing, the app, on their phone, and you can give them temporary access. And using their Bluetooth phone, they can get inside your house when they get in, if you're at work or something like that. And then you can take away keys and things like that. Because my house lock right now is not working correctly. I got to jiggle the key, and I seen this. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I got it pre-ordered. It should be sent out by the end of the month.
Nice one.
Isn't it interesting just how technology and innovation is driving so many different things? I mean, this is, Nest is effectively a glorified, smoke alarm or fire detector or whatever. And they've gone and made something which is, a fantastic solution to give us more information, make it SMS and available, and, jump on your iPhone to access content. It's it just makes you wonder what's going to happen next.
Well, with the Nest, it's really interesting because at my office, the place that I use as it's like co-sharing, where you have a bunch of different people and companies are in the same building, but they're all using different areas. Well, the owner actually installed a Nest into the system at 3 different places in the building. And the cool thing about it is, and she uses it for AC and heating. So she can be in, for example, in Arizona, where she travels a lot. And if we call her, we're like, hey, we've got people here late tonight. Can you go ahead and make sure that AC is on or heat is on, depending on what we're needing? and all she has to do is just go to her phone, put in the app, because it knows where her home base is. It'll actually adjust it from wherever she's at via her iPhone. And I've always thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it only took like a couple of minutes to install, and it was super simple. Yeah, I like the fact that they have this thing now for smoke detection and carbon monoxide detection and things like that. I mean, definitely technology can be in this kind of situation. It can be great. It can be very, very useful. But also making sure that if you've got a family, you're utilizing a product that doesn't have any flaws or anything like that, because sometimes technology can fail us.
What's going to be interesting about the Nest is probably like if there's a fire in your house, it'll probably send you like some kind of message through your iPhone or something, a text message. It even gives you one when the batteries need to replace. Because a lot of people forget to replace the batteries in the smoke alarm.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would sound a little bit like this.
Emergency. There's smoke in the bedroom.
That's what it'll sound like when it's going off with a bell tone.
Wow. I watched a movie once which said that.
Replay it again, Jack. If you want to replay it again, mate.
Emergency. There's smoke in the bedroom.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a guest today, right?
What's that, Jody?
We have a guest today.
I couldn't understand what you're saying.
It's breaking up.
A guest.
Oh,
Siri.
That's actually from the Nest website itself.
Oh, okay. Nice one.
I didn't make that.
I love how the audio is so controlled. It's like, emergency, your house is on fire. Please enjoy your day.
Well, I think it says that before it sends out a piercing alarm, a very loud one. I think it warns you first.
98 decibel.
Before you bust
But
your
you said
hearing.
yourself just then, Albert, that it was really simple and easy to install. I think that's sort of the secret at the moment is consumers have so much choice with so many different things that the ones that work are very much the Johnny Ivy, the nice, simple, clean, couple of buttons, easy to use, easy to install. That seems to be like if there's 6 products, it's the one that's easy to use, that's, clean and simple, that seems to get the ground.
Yeah, well, I'm actually looking at the picture right now on their website, and it looks like it installs right above or right in that same place where a smoke detector would go. So if you were to, put 1 or 2 in the house, you can basically, when it activates and when it turns on, it can easily, send out just a really loud alert and alarm throughout the house. And I think that's great. I think that's a great idea. It looks very interesting. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting one for my family.
Hey, look at my photo. It's the Nest fire alarm right there. Their new black model they just released.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on. Andrew, we have guests on today. And by the way, can you move your mic away from your mouth a minute? We can hear you.
I can do that for you, Brad. Is that better?
Perfect. We can hear you.
Okay,
we can hear you going.
Hear me breathing, doing my Darth Vader.
Sounds like Darth Vader, yeah.
All right. Fire away, man.
Okay, so we have got Albert Grassia on today from GrassiaGroup.com. How you doing, Albert?
I'm good.
That's good. Now, I believe you're effectively into security, internet security, I guess cyber security, but also on the side of hacking. What sort of got you into that as an industry, I guess?
Well, I've always been involved with computers, and I have always been part of technology. Technology has always been a part of me. And once, I knew that I could mess with people and do different things, then I knew, I knew there was also a flip side to it. There's got to be a way to protect, and there's got to be a way to patch those holes, for example, and to stop those different things. So, I guess you can say I've kind of been on the legit side for maybe like the past 7 or 8 years. and I love it. I mean, aside from security, I do like forensics and data recovery, and all of this came out of my love for technology. So.
Okay, so we hear of, I mean, you said you're on the legit side in hacking. We hear of, white hats and black hats. And is that, the good guys versus, is the white hats the good guys? Do you want to just.
Well, you have like three different kinds. You've got a white hat, you've got the black hat, but in the middle, you've also got the gray hat. Now, the white hat hackers, they are on, they're the good guys, the ethical guys, the guys that, do things above board. And, on the other side, you've got the black hat. The black hat hackers are very malicious type of hackers. They'll do anything and everything they can to pretty much make things miserable for you. But in the middle, you've got the gray hat. And the gray hat are the people that, can walk on the line of, ethics and unethical type of hacking as well. So, I mean, there's three different classes there, but generally you'll find people either on the white hat or the black hat side.
So, I mean, a grey hat, though, could be somebody who would hack into somebody, but then turn around and say, hey, letting you know I hacked your servers last night, you need to get that fixed.
Well, that's hard to say because, I mean, a lot of what we do with the Grassia group is in white hat, we find a lot of vulnerabilities with permission from, from companies. So I guess, yeah, to a degree, you're right there. I mean, there's a lot of people that will start poking and prodding, and then they'll turn around and they'll, without permission, of course, and then they'll turn around and they'll go, hey, we found some vulnerabilities here. So they're kind of walking a very fine line of danger and, just unethical behavior.
So I guess you've got to, sort of go to a company and have them give permission for you to start effectively snooping around and see if you can find vulnerabilities. You can't sort of just find a server, start hacking away, and if you get in, then let them know. That's kind of unethical.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here in the States, there's a lot of laws that, try to guard against that. And for some, it's, it's an immediate 10 years, some 25 years in jail. So it varies. I mean, it's, one of the best things you can do is if you're a business that does this, make sure you go to them, to the people and say, here's a contract. And essentially, this is your get out of jail free contract. So they know what you're doing. And, there's an expectation on both sides and understanding on both sides.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. I mean, why should companies hire a cybersecurity firm like the Grassia Group? Why is that important in sort of today's, I guess, internet world? And what have you got to say to the companies who don't go down that path of actually employing, a specific security company?
That's a good question. I think it's definitely important that companies actually do hire people to check their vulnerabilities and their security because unfortunately, a lot of tech admins, IT admins, when it comes to security, they're kind of clueless in that area. And depending on the company, it can make or break them. I mean, I had a company that I did some work for, and they had a very lax sense of security. They didn't really pay attention to any kind of security around their company. Well, because of a virus, they lost $150,000 overnight. I mean, it was crazy. Their bank accounts were compromised and various things like that. But to those companies that don't really take security seriously, is unfortunately, you get what's coming towards you because you don't care about security. It's your security. I mean, it's your information, and security can either protect that from hackers, or if you've got a very lax sense of security, it can essentially close your business down. People can get information about you and go to another company and sell that, and next thing you don't know how they found out, but they're getting a jump on you, and they're beating you in the next quarter. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's kind of the confidence that comes from a company that's never been hacked before. I think once you've been hacked and you've had that downtime, or crucial information disappear, all of a sudden it becomes something pretty serious.
Yeah. For example, you've got Sony. A few years ago, when they got breached, a few times, the crazy thing was, I think it was about a month before, they let go of a large number of their security crew, their security team. And, soon after that, next thing you know, they were getting popped, and, databases were leaked and stolen and everything. And you look at it and you go, why did you do that? I mean, I understand if it's cost cutting or whatever, but you don't, you don't want to, get caught with, your guard down.
Well, it's not just the
anyone else.
Yeah, it's just not the business the company themselves, but it could be their client's data it's compromised as well. It could be credit card numbers, it could
Very good
be
point.
phone numbers, addresses, or whatever. And talking about what you said earlier about some unethical hackers or whatever. Of course, fairly recently, I think Apple's website went. Well, it was the developers' website went down, and Apple did it themselves because they found somebody was poking around, and then he came out that he was doing it just to check for security or some weird reason, and a lot of times they even try to hold these people companies kind of hostage in a way by saying, unless you get this fixed, I'm going to, post this exploit on the web and all this, which I disagree with. That's not the right way to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, you have people that find exploits. The proper thing to do is to report it to the company and to say, in a month or two, we're going to go ahead and make this exploit public as part of our research. But you only do that once they're patched, once they're fixed, once they have taken care of that exploit. That's the responsible thing to do.
Yep.
There was a good thing you just said there, Steve, was, with the Apple thing that happened, I think the first 3 or 4 days, they actually said that they were doing an upgrade and it's taking longer and it was scheduled. And everyone's kind of like, well, it doesn't really look like it because everything's down. It took them like 5 or 6 days to actually admit, yep, okay, we've been hacked. What are your thoughts around that, Albert, as far as what should be a company's process if they do get hacked? Should they just fess up or should they try and hide it and see where they get to?
Yes, I think they should just, open up and be honest and say essentially tell their clients we had a security breach. Our team is on it right now and they're fixing things now. If and just be honest and upfront at the beginning. If you don't, then your customers and the people that follow you are going to look at you and go, why didn't you say anything? Do you not care? What about my information? And it becomes personal. And then you've got an angry mob on your hands in no time.
All right. Jacob, any questions?
I just put one in the show notes. It's hacker tools that I found out about that are pretty bad. Metasploit and Backtracker.
Well, they're actually great tools. They're not really bad tools. They're great tools for security research, and people like myself and others, we utilize those tools when we've got companies that are hiring us to look for those exploits, to look for those holes where they're not secure, and we utilize those tools, and it's great. It's a very useful tool, but you are right in some degree. In the wrong hands, it can be devastating.
I know there was someone on Google Plus.
Let's not go. Don't mention that.
No, I'm not going to mention any names. But he was messing with everybody. Right, Brad?
That'd probably go against Google terms of service, actually.
Staying right, Jacob. But Jody, any questions? Jody, any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was muted. I'm curious how you got started, and how you learned how to do this.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. The funny thing is that people ask me, "Where did you go to school for this?" And I usually tell them, I didn't. It's kind of like just my bedroom. Just tinkering around on the computer, learning different things, teaching myself things. But over the past couple of years, I will say that I've actually gone to classes and taken some different classes to get certifications. And I absolutely love it. I kind of, at times, I kind of wish I did that earlier, but there's a lot of things that I just learned like on my own. But early on, when I started doing this, I don't know if you remember back like in the days of AOL and those chat rooms, you can easily like throw out a script or do something and cause somebody's hard drive to spin or their floppy disk to go crazy or whatever. And, we were doing that kind of stuff. We were helping build those kind of progs. We were, building a lot of different things. And that's really where I kind of, threw myself in and got started. But now, looking back, I kind of laugh at those days because now we're working with like law enforcement and others, private investigators and various people to to assist them in their own investigations.
Albert, I guess technology probably wasn't your first love. I think you came from a background of the arts and theatre and drama and things like that. Give us a little bit of an idea about how that was being in that sort of industry as a younger person, and where your interest or focus started to shift away from, acting and so forth and into technology.
Yeah. I was on stage at the age of 6 and absolutely loved it. Did theater, dance, pantomime, all of that stuff. And I loved it. And things were going really, really well. But because of all of the years of movement and dance and theater and all of that, like me personally, I started to develop, just some arthritis. And it got to where I couldn't do as much anymore. And it kind of got me to a place where I'm like, okay, let's focus on some other things. And then I started to slowly wean myself away from like being in the arts to, being in front of a computer and being able to kind of unpackage and take a look at the computer and see what it's all about. I mean, for me, I look at things like a puzzle and I've got to figure it out. And that's just where, I sat down and I started looking at my computer. I think it was a 386 was my first computer.
Ooh,
yeah, we're talking.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're talking
Record
back
bell.
in the day. Yes. So we're learning. I'm learning all of this stuff, and I really got into it. And I started eating it up, and one thing led to another, and it's kind of progressed to where I'm at today.
Well done, mate. Well done. And what do you charge for your service and stuff?
Well, it varies depending on what it is. There's like data recovery can be anywhere from $95 to $125 an hour, depending on how much you need recovered. But there's and that's U.S. dollars. I mean, there's also services of virus removal and password breaking and things like that I usually do. Well, the password stuff I typically do with law enforcement. But like the virus removal and things like that, I mean, I can usually do between $75 to $100 per situation, and for me, it usually takes about 35 to 45 minutes to complete one project.
Oh wow!
So
nice one. What computer do you use as your main computer at home, Albert?
Well, currently I'm using a MacBook Pro with a Windows 7, Windows XP, and a Windows 8 on my VMware.
Oh no!
So. Yeah, all on the same machine. I love it.
At the same time?
Yeah, I love
No, I'm no. Just I tend to run Windows 7 and XP and my MacBook, and then I start to see some issues. So I'm like, I'll just use the Mac. I'll just use my Apple OS.
So, Albert, are you an Apple fan person?
I am, and I used to be a real big Android fan, and and then I began to look at the Android operating system and see various opportunities for mobile malware and compromises and things like that, and I've always gravitated towards the Apple OS, so I've just kind of that's all I use now.
Yeah, do you agree that the iOS on the iPhone is more safer than the Android?
Yeah, I do, but at the same time, it's going to be the Apple Store that's going to have to pay attention to their apps that they're uploading. I mean, that they're allowing on their store.
Yeah, definitely. I always hear Android is bad. They always have virus and stuff in there and stuff and that sort of thing. Andrew, you moved to Android for testing and stuff. How's your S4 going, by the way?
Yeah, I haven't done that much yet, but yeah, I've got the S4 for testing the Zafo app coming to the store soon, and I think I prefer the iOS from a usability perspective, but certainly as yourself, Brad, and Albert just touched on, I think Android will allow you to do a lot more. They're a lot more open in what you can build as far as apps and the Android
that is true.
platform.
Yeah.
But whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I actually don't mind the fact that it takes a bit more work and there's a few more things you need to do to go through Apple to get approved, and they close off some things, because it sort of gives me the sense of security that when I'm a consumer, someone who's not necessarily creating an app, but someone who's using it, I think it's a bit safer. And that's just an opinion thing. I mean, there's probably Android users who say that, the Android is a safer operating system, but I don't mind the fact that Apple sort of closed some things up.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, JD? What's your view on all this?
On what the
On what?
Apple versus.
Yeah, Apple versus Android. The Android store with that sort of stuff. I think it's safer than iOS is safer, isn't it? You agree with that, Jay?
I think the perception was that iOS used to be safer. I think that, if somebody's going to hack something, they're going to hack it. If somebody wants to get into something, it really doesn't matter. They'll get in.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, here's a question for him then. What's on Android causes it's being far easier to put malware in the Android store or on the phones?
Well, what's interesting is on the Android phones, if you look at it, when I believe it's in your settings, you can actually allow third-party apps or apps that are not on the marketplace.
Yeah.
And people, tend to do that. They'll upload an APK, onto their phone and they'll install it. Next thing you know, everything is good, but then it starts to take over. And they see this a lot, mainly in India and through some countries in Asia, is that SMS has like premium, I think it's premium SMS or premium texting, and it's like super expensive. And there's other things that are, causing phones to give up root access and so forth, and backdoors and various different things. But Google has been, I will say this in defense, Google has been very good on catching that stuff and removing it from their store. And in essence, also removing it from the device silently, which kind of scares me.
So are they sideloading these applications on Android, bypassing the Google Play Store entirely? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically it's, somebody puts it on a server and you start, through SMS phishing, you just start sending out these text messages to, tons of people. And then they click on the link, they download it to their phone, it's installed, and they think it's like this fun game app. But next thing you know, it's, your contact list has been siphoned, your text messages have been siphoned. There's a lot of different things that can happen. I mean, reports that have been dropped that are on your phone can be sent back to the person that created the app. So it can be a very scary thing. And I think, the same thing can be said for the Apple operating system. People are always saying, well, Apple is, you can't hack Apple and you can't hack an iOS. Well, it can easily be compromised because most of the Trojans and compromises now you're seeing are coming from third-party applications that people allow on their machine. So,
Interesting.
I guess it's difficult to get a balance too, because as you sort of said, some apps want information to be sent back to the app developer so they can have a look at what they're doing and potentially so they can have a look at metrics and things like this. But it's a really difficult task for Apple to sort of decide what should be sent back, what shouldn't be sent back, and what that particular app developer might actually use that information for. So I think it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
Agreed.
Do you have any questions or views on this before we wrap up, mate?
Well, I've been looking at your blog, and it's pretty good.
Thanks,
I've been reading a lot of it while you were talking.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I might have to bookmark this page.
We're doing a lot of case studies. I mean, if you get a chance, check it out later. There's a case study on there about the client that lost, over $150,000, and you'll see what they did and how they lost it. It's a pretty sad story, but there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from it. So,
interesting. All right, Andrew. Any?
Oh,
I guess that. Sorry, Matt. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, and I know that there was also a bug where you could bypass the lock screen on the iPhone. It's not necessarily a hack in itself, but they, of course, exploit bugs in systems just as that.
Yeah, and you know what? Apple fixed that within the first week or so, and it's going to happen over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Andrew, let's wrap up. Let's get your final view on the show. And also next week, we're having the Apple keynote. Let's get your view on that as well before we go. Let's get your...
Okay, so Albert, just to touch on the Grassia Group, we can get you at grassiagroup.com. Is that correct? You want to just spell it out for our listeners?
Sure. Yeah. GRAS as in Sam, S as in Sam, IA, group, GROUP.com.
Perfect. And obviously, we have a lot of listeners here in Australia. The services that you offer, are they only for the people physically where you are, or can you actually work with people remotely from anywhere around the world?
Yeah, I could definitely work with people remotely from different places, so that won't be an issue. And I do a lot of consulting as well, so I'm always good about answering and responding back to emails and things like that. So, and I generally I don't charge anything for email. So if anybody wants to just shoot me an email, ask me a question, I'm all games. So feel free.
Good stuff. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. And if anyone wants to shoot an email through, you've got the .com, grassiagroup.com, and be sure to check it out.
Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I mean, I love the show. You guys are great. So
appreciate your feedback. Okay, Andrew, what's your view on the Apple event on this week? What date, by the way? What date and what day?
22nd, I think.
22nd.
22nd,
Yeah.
Jacob. Yeah. I'm not overly excited. There's sort of every year there's another launch of something they're doing. I haven't had a huge look at what the differences are. I won't be getting up early, but I'll certainly check out the keynote the following day. So. Hopefully it'll be good. I think it's another iPad is what they're sort of talking about. I'm personally waiting on an iPhone 6. I wanted to get a bit bigger screen. When that one comes out, I'll certainly be tuning in for that.
Well,
What about
Maverick's supposed to be
what's
coming
your
out?
hang on for a sec, Steve.
Okay.
Andrew, what's your prediction in the keynote day, mate? What new iPad and stuff or no?
Yeah, I think it'll be a new iPad Mini with more, more power, more this, more that. Maybe even with the iPhone 5S fingerprint scanner. But that's my general prediction. What was your thought, Steve?
Oh, I was just saying that I think they're going to be releasing Mavericks, and which has better support for multiple monitors. So I just want to add that in there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so, Andrew, what's your Twitter name and stuff and final view on the show, mate?
Okay, yeah, you can grab me at Facebook and Twitter. It's Cunning Drew, and you can get me at zafo.com/@Andrew. And thank you so much for being on the show today, Albert Grassia, and thanks everyone.
All right, final view and your prediction for the keynote, mate, this week.
Who is that? You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you kind of blurted it out. There was silence.
All right.
I really enjoyed this show. I didn't know it would be so fun talking about hackers and hacking and stuff like that, security. Oh,
Yeah,
you can
good
find me
stuff.
on Twitter as Chatterbox_live, I guess.
All right, and what's your prediction of the keynote, mate? What do you think they'll put out this week?
As I mentioned, I think I think Maverick's supposed to be coming out around the time frame as well.
Nice. No, wait. So again, how much will it be? About $20, I reckon.
Yeah, or even a little cheaper, maybe. They seem to lower the price every year, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right, and you can get me on Twitter at Brad Oz and Tech Webcast. I'm hoping for a new iPad Mini. We've written it. I can't wait. I'll be getting one. Jacob, final thoughts of the show and your prediction for the keynote this week, man.
Man, I love the show.
Yeah, you always say that every week.
No, but I have an end to it.
Go ahead.
I liked it because every show is a little different.
It is.
You kind of get a better understanding about tech.
It is indeed. I agree with you 100%. It's very good show, and people need to listen to it every week. And what's your prediction for the Apple keynote, Jacob?
I've been hearing from some other sources that there might be another Apple TV update.
I hope so. Please bring out another Apple TV update or new box, maybe.
They're probably going to put up 7.0, I think.
Really? What's going to be in that, do you reckon?
Don't know. Brent Waitnight, he's mentioned something about that because they might put one out on the keynote.
Nice. We need to get him on the show again. He's very smart. He knows what he's talking about with Apple and stuff. Jody, what's your final view of the show and the Apple keynote, and what we're going to get you on Twitter?
Really enjoyed the guest today. Thank you so much for being on. Some good information about hacking and hackers, and I agree with Steve that it was a lively discussion. Sorry you guys couldn't hear me too well.
That's okay.
With regard to Apple, I think the keynote for this particular launch, I think they're going to focus on the iPads because it's a great product for the holidays. Yeah, and I think the app will be another one. I wouldn't be surprised to see an update to either the MacBook Pro or the Air with the fingerprint. So that's Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter as Sunswept and find me in all the usual places as either Jody Rains or as webmarcom.net.
All right. Well done, Jody.
Did I say my Twitter name?
I don't think you did, no.
Okay. Jazzbot32669-1Z.
And you want to mention that stand you got the other day, Jacob, from 12
12 South. I like. It's hard to put together, but once you get it together, it works fine. I got my iPad sitting right on top of it right now.
Well,
It makes it easy for reading, but Brad, he's having a lot of issues, like when he's trying to watch TV shows and stuff. You can't turn it the landscape.
no, that sucks. But anyway, I use it on the iPhone anyway. It's good on the iPhone. What else would you mention, Jacob, before we go? Your birthday next week?
Yes, sir.
And can't wait for that. Also, Albert, what's your final view on the show, mate, and your Twitter name and the Apple event for this week?
Yeah, I love the show. Love the interaction you guys have here. Just the idea of a podcast that talks about technology and in a well-rounded way. I love it. My Twitter handle is Grassia Group, GrassiaGroup. You can follow me there, or even my personal Twitter handle that I use is Private Eye Albert. It's a picture of Tom Selleck, and it's funny. I mean, because I'm a private investigator, I thought I'd use that. But as far as the Apple keynote, I've been reading a lot about how the iPad probably won't be featured until next quarter.
Huh?
It's possible, but I'm really looking forward towards Mavericks being released. I mean, it's supposedly it's going to be $20. So I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting if they do release another iPad or even talk about an iPhone, which I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time on it because of Mavericks being released. They're probably going to have a bigger focus on software.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon either a update to laptops, the Mavericks coming in,
Yes.
or a new iPod Touch maybe, or iPods maybe.
Possibly. I don't know about hardware, but I think it's going to be a big software focus.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. That's a wrap, Andrew. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, whatever the Apple release is, we'll certainly be talking about it in detail next week and go through it then.
Oh, it's going to be a big show next week, mate.
Yeah, it should be good. Jacob's birthday show, and we'll go through the Apple. So that's another week of Tech Webcast, Brad.
Thank you for being on, guys. Appreciate it.
Please mute.
Hey, thanks.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. A weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30pm or GMT plus 10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechheads.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Tech Webcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guest they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Tech Webcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you. Peace.